All right. Well, welcome to the live show, everybody. This is show number 7. Is that right, Stu?
It is, yes.
Show number 7. This promises to be a big one. This is called the Creation Wars. It's a weekly photography competition with a bit of a twist. We bring on a bunch of masters from the Arcanum, and they come representing champions. These are people from their cohorts, and it gets crazy. It's always fun. We always see amazing photos. We do critiques. It's just a really good time for like cool photographers to hang out and just, you know, just be cool. Now, the first thing we always get started with is introductions. So I'll go from my left to my right, and this will be the same order we'll go in throughout the night for show and tell and everything. So Glenn, you're up first.
Hi, Trey.
Glenn,
yes,
I think you're muted.
Oh, I shouldn't be. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you. Go for it.
Okay. Thanks. Hi, folks. Glenn Guy, travel photography guru. I have a cohort happening, and it's a lot of fun. We're doing really well. I've got a couple people now into level 11, and we've got some newbies coming through as well, so it's really exciting. But yeah, you can find me at my website, travelphotographyguru.com.
Very cool. Awesome. Oh, I feature a different New Zealand wine each week, by the way. I forgot to show. Tonight is Falcon Head, 2013 Pinot Noir. I'm excited about this one. This will be a good one. Okay, up next is, from my left to my right, is Laurie Rubin.
Hi, I'm Laurie. I work for MacFun, and I have an Arcanum. We're the Wildlife and Nature cohort, and I've been with Arcanum since April. And it's been really exciting, and I'm really excited to show my apprentices' work today. So I'm excited and I'm ready. So bring it on.
Awesome.
Okay.
MacFun, M-A-C-P-H-U-N.
Well, yes, lots of fun in the fun.
The PH brings the fun.
That's right.
It's a great company.
Yes.
Okay, Ollie Dale, you're up next.
Awesome. My name is Ollie Dale. I'm a master and I live in Auckland in New Zealand, although I'm on holiday at the moment at my mother-in-law's house, so not too much fun today. My mother-in-law might hear. I'm running a general cohort full of amazing people like Stuart, who's on this call, one of the heroes of the Arcanum. Stuart refuses to have his level 19 critique because he doesn't want to leave my cohort, so he's stuck on level 18 until he feels like he wants to leave. Today I'm drinking a Cabernet Franc. This is also a New Zealand wine. This is actually quite an amazing wine because it's made by my sister, who is a winemaker, and she's done a limited edition run of these bottles. She's done a Cabernet Franc and a Viognier as well, a white. And so I'm going to be trying out her red today.
I love it. What a cool label.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. My sister helped. My other sister, I've got 3. She's a sort of artist come sculptor, and she helped to design the logo and the lookout, and it's just quite a really fun little project that my sister's running in the background of her winemaking job.
A very talented family, Ollie Dale. Very nice. Okay, not Tiff, Trace.
I'm Trey's Aiken. You can see my website at tracephotographs.com. I'm currently in Florida, halfway between Orlando and Tampa, and I'll be heading over to the Gulf Coast tomorrow to do some video for my cohort. We have a young cohort, but very active and extremely creative people, and I'm really excited to talk about our champion tonight. So we're going to take the cup.
Awesome. Trace is a first-time competitor here on the Creation War, so we hope he comes strong. We've got some seasoned veterans here.
Did you bring your claws, Trace?
Did I bring my what?
Your claws.
The claws?
Claws.
I did indeed. Oh, and as far as drinking, I'm staying holiday and doing eggnog. Answering Captain Jack Sparrow's question of why is there no rum?
All right, Stu. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Stu. I'm in Ollie's cohort, also one of the heroes of the Arcanum, and volunteering to help keep things ticking along. My website's over my shoulder. What I'm drinking today is Dead Pony Pale Ale, which tastes nothing like what I expected, but there you go, that's what dead ponies taste like. And I just think it's a sad state of affairs when Ollie's mother-in-law has better internet than he does.
Welcome to New Zealand.
Yeah. And Tiff, hello.
Hi. It's alright, I'm sure your internet's better than mine, Ollie. Hi for everybody watching. I'm Tiff. I'm an apprentice in Ron Clifford's cohort. And I also do some helping out and hero type stuff. I'm over on Twitter, and you can join the conversation with me using hashtag CreationWars7. And also, I'm posting up links on Twitter to the voting form. I've got an official voting form, so it won't be left up to me this week if there's a tie and there's a tiebreaker. So, yeah, that's me.
Good. And if you guys watch those, when the master's here, when they share the photos, she will link to the high-res photos so you can, look at their brilliance on your big screen or whatever you have to watch it on. All right? Okay. So before we jump into the news thing, I want to do a little quick Arcanum announcement because we just introduced something today in the Masters mashup. It's starting to make the rounds, but I thought you might want an early look in case this is the first time you've heard about it. So I'm going to click here. This is called The Path of the Protege. Okay. What is this thing, I hear you wondering over the internet? Well, this is the path by which an apprentice can become a master. Now, this isn't the thing for all apprentices. Not all apprentices want to be masters or this sort of stuff, but some do, and some are good artists and good communicators, and so we came up with a system for them to do this because this is really like a bottom-up educational system, right? Not top-down, and so it's sort of a self-replicating DNA type thing, and this is the path for that to happen. It actually already happened with Les Ingram, who was an apprentice of Verena's, and then he did some little extra master training, and now he's a master of his own. So he's sort of like the golden child of this whole idea. But this is something that's open to absolutely everybody. So there's a video which I won't press play on, which you can press play on yourself. But it has all the prerequisites. You have to be at least level 11. All this kind of stuff. Talks about this new thing called the Master Vanguard. They're the ones that kind of help you go along these stepping stones. We don't call them levels. We call them stepping stones. There's 9 different stepping stones that you go on to learn to be a master. It's a fairly, it's not a long process. It could take anywhere from maybe 1 month to 3 months, and you do it alongside while you're continuing to level up inside the Arcanum, so you can have 2 things going on at the same time. But yeah, I want to thank Jessica Lark and Ron Clifford for helping to get this thing started. There's all kinds of fun stuff in here. Anyway, I'll point you to it in the show notes. You can take a look at it. Ask us if you have any questions. We are super excited to introduce this thing. We've had a ton of people asking about it, but we wanted to make a nice formalized process and do it the right way. Be organized about it. So this is what that is. So there you go. Boom shakalaka. Pretty exciting, eh, Ollie? Ollie, you are muted.
Sorry, I was muted. I was typing and I didn't want to. Yeah, I was on that call this morning, and it was very cool to see how it's working and all the work that Jessica has put into it, and Ron, of course. But yeah, it's going to be good to be able to plug some of our apprentices into that little formula and see what happens out the other end. Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about it too. I think it's going to be great. So we're going to jump into a few quick news items. I'm going to give a quadcopter update, DJI Inspire update, now that I've been flying it quite a bit. But Stu, you just got something in the mail that was quite mysterious, yes?
Yes, I got a book here. It arrived off the desk or the basement, I'm not sure which, from Don Komarechka, who I guess is otherwise known as the Snowflake Guy. And it is a massive book. I expected a good book, but this far exceeded my expectations. It's over 300 pages of snowflake pictures, information, all the science behind snowflakes, how Don starts his workflow, what he does to process the images. Basically, if you want to be the new Snowflake Guy, you buy his book. So it's hardback, and it's just filled with information. In fact, he's gone into so much detail. Wow.
I have one too.
Around the world. Yeah. So much detail that even the box has a snowflake on it. That's
Wow.
how much attention to detail there is. So,
Look, it's almost, there's a lot of pictures, of course, but there's all kind of science in here. You can get your science on. I didn't
just
know this.
a hugely impressive book, but of course other ebooks are available. For example, Glenn Guy has some awesome ebooks as well on his travel photography.
Yeah.
Hey, for anyone who knows Don, 300 pages it must have been like half an hour with a dictaphone, because that guy talks up a storm, and I'm surprised he kept it to only 300 pages. It was probably more the manufacturing process that kept it to 300 pages.
He talks up a snowstorm. All right, and Stu, I'm sorry, Ollie, you have some sort of thing you want to share, yes?
Yeah, I had a couple of things I want to share. One is very exciting. I've just got a little message on my phone just now to say that my Jabber's sail barge is been shipped. I ordered it a couple of weeks ago, and I finally shipped it, so that's on its way, and that's pretty exciting. It doesn't ship to New Zealand, but I have to get it shipped within the States, and then I get it forwarded on. But that's really fun. I'm so excited about that. It's like news of the day for me. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was this product here, which is a photo book of my family, which we actually made several copies of for our family for Christmas this year. And I took the kids in. I'll show you the second to last page. This is the shoot that we did with my kids, and we got them all dressed up in their kind of favorite costumes. We took the costume box in with us and had a fun couple of hours. And you know, this was our Christmas present to the family, was a whole bunch of photos and then the odd quote. What a piece of junk. And then my 3-year-old says, that's what Luke said in A New Hope. So they're all Star Wars to death. But this is made by a company called Artisan State, and it's beautifully bound. This is the cheapest cover with the cheapest paper on the inside, and it's still amazingly good quality. You can get leather bound, you can get photos on the front. But this thing here was $30 US delivered. So I had one delivered to England, where my brother is. I had one delivered to America, where my brother-in-law is, and about another 10 delivered to me. And it was the most amazing Christmas gift. Got the best reaction of anyone's, because that's really what it's all about. Christmas ain't about giving; it's about getting that reaction of the best present of the day. Well, it is in my family anyway. And yeah, and that was awesome. So Artisan State, really affordable, amazing quality photo books, and I'm not affiliated with them at all. If they want to affiliate with me, you can see my Twitter handle just down here. Yeah, love the product, and I recommend you give them a go, because as far as getting prints off the computer and into real life, then that's a really good way of doing it.
Wow, that's a great idea too. Super creative. Did you come up with that yourself?
Totally. That's who I am.
That's a genius idea. I love it. I just got something in the mail too. If you guys remember, last week I had to recuse myself in the difficult decision when Tiff made that very controversial tiebreaker at the end. It's because one of the photos, just by chance, was created by Cole Walder, who just sent me this in the mail because he works at Rockstar. And so he sent me the new one for the Xbox 360, which I'm quite excited about. And look, he even signed it. So if I were to... Oh, we got members of the team to sign it too. How cool. If I were to vote, then it's a huge conflict of interest. Huge conflict. But Tiff still voted him as a winner anyway, so thank you, Tiff. We are not in coots, are we, Tiff?
No.
No money has exchanged hands.
No money has exchanged hands, Tiff. Okay, so I'll give you a little quadcopter update. Laurie, are you lusting over this?
Yes, this is what I wanted, but I didn't get. So sad.
Dude, I am too.
So I have now flown this thing about 10 times. One thing I've learned a few things. I've made no mistakes, if you can believe it. But this is there's a little ND filter on here, and I actually can't figure out when I should and shouldn't take it off. So I usually keep it on like in the super bright part of the day, but otherwise I take it off. It just screws on and off really easily. But I've learned a lot of things about this. I flew the old one, the Phantom, a lot. Not the old one, the other one. For one thing, this is quieter, which is probably my biggest shock. I thought for sure that it would be louder, but there's something about, maybe it's the bigger blades make it quieter. I don't know why it's quieter, but it is not a lot quieter. I would say like 20% quieter. And the app that you run it off of is super sophisticated. In fact, it's so sophisticated that I use the app to launch it. You can do a little slider, like you're turning off your iPad, and that just launches it. It goes up to to head height, and then gets the landing gear come up. And it's really easy to change the location of where the home point is, so you can change the home location to where your controller is. And before I didn't use the home location very much, but now almost all the time I'm just flying it around. It might be like a kilometer and a half away or whatever. I'm still getting live video back, live 4K video right to my screen. I can just do another slider to fly home, and it flies right home and lands. It's always been like an exact spot. There's never been any problem. The other thing I noticed is that it connects to GPS really fast. I mean, probably in like under 10 seconds, I'm connected to over 16 or 17 satellites. So that's unbelievably fast and super impressive. The photography part of it is hugely different. You can take bracketed photos, so you can take HDR photos. You can take a series of 3 or 5. There's all these different kinds of picture modes. You can have total manual control. You can't set the aperture, but you can change the ISO and the shutter speed. I think that's how it is. Yeah, I think you can change all that stuff manually if you want to. And you can see the results live on the screen, exactly what it looks like, because you're seeing exactly what's on the sensor. But it seems to be really easy to fly.
Like?
What'd you say?
What's the codec like?
It's a DNG file. It's a Adobe DNG file, which is surprising. Actually, it's the first time I've ever seen a camera that gives off the DNG file. Everything always seems to be some proprietary RAW file, but it's just DNG. It looks great. Lots of light data in there. But yeah, I love it. I've had no problems. It seems to be much more stable. I think that's because it's heavier, and so it's less likely to get buffeted around, I guess. Yeah, but it's been a.
How's the video?
The video's great. I haven't released any video yet because I don't feel like I've done anything that interesting with it. It does 4K video, which is amazing. I've been editing together a few clips, but video editing, that's a whole other beast. I mean, it just takes forever. Yeah.
I've told the DJI guys we need one in Southern California because we've been watching, you and people up north that have the Inspire, but someday we'll get one down here.
You got to get one. I think, actually, they're having trouble meeting demand because I think there's such incredible demand for these things, and they're quite inexpensive, I think. They're cheaper than a DSLR in a lot of ways. And, yeah, they're supposed to be like for professionals, but I think they've actually missed the boat. I think like amateurs, it's easier to fly than the Phantom. It's maybe only $1,000 more in the Phantom. It takes way better photos. It takes way better video. It seems to be safer, more idiot-proof. The app is incredible. So I don't think it's professional. I think consumers want this thing too.
I'm going to sell my Phantoms and just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. Actually, I got an iPhone 6 Plus just for my Phantom so I could have a better screen. That's the main reason why I upgraded, just for that.
All right. Yeah.
Priorities.
Priorities. That's good.
Yes.
I like your priorities. You sound like me. Except I'm not going to get rid of my Android. I plug it into my iPad. Yeah. I heard that the new Android phone takes RAW files. You guys following that? It does.
I don't know anything about that.
What, the new Nexus?
Yeah. It's the first mobile phone to shoot RAW files. But I need to do some more research on it. I think, I don't know if it's just the software update does it or if you actually need one of the new Nexus phones. I'm not sure. I'll find out. That's going to be huge.
I've got an app on my iPhone that shoots into Tiff files, which is quite good. Gives a lot of data.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I think once you have RAW files, that you can do a lot with apps on your phone. I bet the new Snapseed's going to be pretty killer. That's my guess, at least. I don't have any inside information. Okay, shall we start the big competition? Are you ready, Stu?
Yes.
Yep.
Let's go. Get it on. Are you ready to rumble?
Yes.
Okay. So let me explain, in case it's people's first time watching, what we do is we'll go in order with the 4 masters here. They've each come to represent one of their apprentices, who they call their champion. And they will begin by talking about their champion. They might sell us on this person, why they're interesting, why they're worthy of being selected, why they're a good person. You know, got to make the audience and all of us fall in love with this person. And then they might share one image or a series of images or just the final image that comes into the big competition. After they present that image, it will be critiqued by all the other masters in sort of a short and sweet type critique. And there's a bit of gamesmanship here that's happening because they've got to get the votes from their fellow masters. And it's always shifting sands. It's always unusual. Sometimes there's controversy. There's always some very subtle Machiavellian machinations going on. So just watch the undertext of what's happening, the dirty underbelly of the creation. And so we begin with you, Glenn Guy.
Okie dokie. Thanks very much. I'll just do a quick screen share and we'll be in business.
See, this is where Glenn is attempting, this is a little sidebar commentary, this is where Glenn is attempting to get some sympathy from the other masters with his inability to properly screen share.
Well, I'm doing it, man. I think you've got it now.
Yes,
We see it, okay.
There we go, thanks. Okay, so I'm really happy to be sharing with you folks images from my good friend Torben Kuhl, who's a German lad living up in far northern Norway. He's actually really, really close to the Russian border. If you have a look at the map, you've got, you know, Norway on the left, Sweden in the middle, Finland on the right. But actually, Norway goes right up around the top of Sweden and almost links up with Finland. And Norway is the farthest north you can go of those 3 countries. And he lives but 10 kilometers from the Russian border. So he's up there in the land of the midnight sun, and he's my cohort's sort of Indiana Jones of the Arctic. He's fantastic. He's out there having a go at all times of day. He's making some fantastic images in all types of weather. He takes on instructions, you know, whatever recommendations, suggestions, he just goes for it. And he's also, I'm really pleased, although I'm going to show you this sort of outdoor photography that he's doing, this extreme photography, if you like, he does everything. So he's done some amazing architectural work, and he's moving into black and white in a big way quite recently. He's also quite new to HDR, but he's embracing it all, and he's doing extremely well. So he's been with me for a few months, and I think he's about level 8 at the moment. So there's a little bit of his work. Let's have a look at a few more shots. So one of the other things he's started to explore is the notion of documentary photography, kind of in the line of National Geographic, you know, where you can tell a story in a single picture, but there's really a recipe we could define as the photo essay. So how to tell a story in a select group of images. And, you know, in a photo essay, this would be considered probably as an opening photograph, a bit like an opening shot in a Western movie, you know, where you've got this widescreen image showing you, giving an indication of what's going to be explored in the story, and the viewer wants to get in and really learn about the characters, the events, and what goes on in this part of the world. And I suppose in a photo essay, this might be considered a closing photograph because literally it tends to wrap the story up. So, you know, this is sort of one of the things we'll be exploring in my cohort over coming months. Because of where he is, and because of his outdoor nature and his ability to really explore this environment, to which he doesn't, you know, he's not indigenous. He comes from Berlin. You know, he's really embraced it. He's got out at all times of the evening and made these fantastic photographs. So a lot of us would be really impressed, I think, as soon as we see an image like this. A lot of his photos have that wow factor, and he's currently working through the limitations of his equipment when it comes to noise and stuff like that. And I've subtly pushed him towards the new Sony technology for that reason, because he's doing a lot of this stuff. And, you know, I think the noise is really what can get in the way of the success of photographs like this, at least when you're dealing with photographers. With the real public, probably not. But, you know, it's just great. And he's photographing all sorts of subject matter, not just the landscape, but structures within the landscape, and thereby really exploring us in the landscape. This was an image that he put into his level 4 critique, and you know, I was so impressed by it that I made a video, a tutorial video, which is posted on the Grand Library. And this is one that I think would grab anyone's attention. You know, I've seen a couple photographs of maybe tents at night photographed in this way in the landscape. But it's a pretty amazing photograph. And for those who are interested, you know, Thor was thundering across the sky and let his hammer swing, and from a huge glacier, the ice rolled down the mountainside, and it still has that heavenly light embedded in it. So that's the true story of the making of this picture. But, you know, if you're looking for wow in a photograph, my friends, you do not have to go any further. Ollie, I see, is already in tears. This is really an extraordinary image, and I couldn't be happier than to share it with you. The greatest difficulty I had was we had a lot of fantastic images come out from my cohort this time around, and it was actually really difficult to choose one, and Torben had a couple that I thought were really great. So, you know, this is what he does. He's exploring his landscape in all sorts of ways, often in quite intimate ways. They're always the images, I think, with the most emotive power. Now, I think this image, as much as anything else, is about light. It's about the effect of light and heat on ice, but it's also about the nature of ice. And I think that's what sets it apart from just a straight technical exercise. And this is an interesting one where we've got this plant and a town called Nickel, and it's just over the border in Russia. He's got the ability to travel across the border. He's got some kind of visa that allows him to do that, and apparently it's terribly polluted, and although it looks pretty in an eerie kind of way, they mine nickel here. It's dreadful, and apparently in summer when the snow melts away, you know, the trees are black for about a 2-kilometre radius around the town, as is the earth. The trees are dead, the earth's black, but it's that eeriness, I think that duality between beauty and what really is an image that's exploring pollution in what should be a pristine part of the world. That's kind of why this is such a powerful image, I think, in a documentary sense as well. And it's making a comment, it's a social comment. So, you know, I was torn, but in fact I've gone with this image for its pure wow factor. Because although it's nice to hear the story about a great photo like this, I think this one just rocks, you know, it just booms straight away. And it's a sort of image that I'm sure folks will probably just go wow to straight away. And if you go wow without even thinking, the photographer has won, because it's the gut, it's the emotion coming through before the mind starts to think, before the brain is engaged. And I think that's what we're all striving for in our photography. So for me, this is the image. It's got that luminosity, which of course is a word that Ansel Adams used a lot in his days, what he was always striving for in the darkroom. If you think about an image on a screen, it's not unlike a slide from days gone by on a light box. It's such a beautiful thing where the light is not reflected off the surface. It actually comes through the image. And I think that's what I'm talking about when I talk about luminosity. We always want our images to project light rather than reflect it. To have that sense at least. Of course, it's beautifully structured. It's got that wonderful colour contrast between the cyan blue in the ice and the glorious golden yellow in the background. And of course the yellow and blue sky contrast as well. Nice sense of three-dimensional space. but it's that connection between the ice and the golden cloud that is the heart of this picture, I feel. So, folks, I hope you'll really enjoy this image as much as I do, and I'm sure you can see how excited I am by it, and I have no doubt this is a winner. Thanks so much.
That was a very smooth delivery. Very smooth. Glenn, I could listen to you talk about that stuff forever. You make everything sound so poetic.
You can call me anytime, 555-555.
I might have you just read my grocery list sometime.
That's right.
This is the best grocery list I've ever made.
Cucumbers.
A bit of mood music, yeah. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
So one thing I didn't mention when I started to do this is stats for these masters. Their win-loss records. We keep track of everything here at the Creation Wars. A very tight accounting system. So let me give the audience a little taste of the previous wins and losses for today's assembled masters. You just heard from the great Glenn Guy. Even though he has that great smooth delivery, he's been on the show once and he has one loss. So he is not looking good with that record.
Which I think suggests to everyone that it is actually my turn. So you know, if the sympathy card works, hey,
Yes.
I'll play it.
Violence.
I got a
Is that
full
the, is that
hand.
the Susan Lucci excuse?
That's it. It'll do. I'll take anything I can.
And in a very similar boat is Laurie Rubin, who has also been on the show once. She's competed once, and she has 0 wins, 1 loss.
Does second count at all?
No, it does not
Like,
count.
like right below the first?
Second does not count. Anything. And then, of course, we have Ollie Dale, who has been on the show 2 times, and he has a total of 2 losses and 0 wins.
Twice as much experience.
Yes, he is the most defeated person ever in the Creation Wars.
But he's going for the 3rd time's the charm.
Yeah. And then last is Trace, because Trace, it's his first time. He has 0 wins, 0 losses. So currently he's undefeated.
Perfect record.
Yes. He seems like he's
I'll
the one
take
to beat. Okay, so now comes the time when we critique that image. So Glenn, can you bring that back up? And we'll go in the same orders before. We'll go Laurie, then Ollie, then Trace on the critique. Okay. And also, for people that watch, that it's your first time watching, we do critiques inside the Arcanum, but they're fairly long affairs, 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes sometimes, like these super thorough, exhaustive critiques. These are not like that. These are just going to be little quick hits, maybe 30 seconds a minute per person here. So here we go. You are up first, Laurie.
Okay. Let's see, I'm going to bring up Glenn's. So what I love about this particular image is that fire and ice, the colors, you get cold and you feel hot, so there's a lot of really nice dynamics within this image. Glenn, I have to say, though, that other image that you pulled up with the pollution, that made me go, wow, because that was amazing.
Don't say that.
So if I were you, I would have picked that one. So I'm just saying, okay? But this is a very nice image. Not knowing the background of this, if I didn't know, I would be looking at this going, okay, now what is this? Okay, it kind of looks like ice. What's the correlation? So for me, I don't feel that connection like I did with that other image that was very powerful with the pollution and that green stuff and lots of things happening in that. But this is okay. Okay.
Okay. So
Very nice. Ollie, you're up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And it's positives. When I'm looking at the larger version that Stuart shared, so that we can have a good look at it. And what I was really impressed by was the control of light all the way through. Even though we've got these 2 major hotspots, one in the cloud, one in the foreground. Actually, the light bouncing off the snow in between those 2 points is really lovely. So I love how you've handled that. It just comes across to me as a little bit too constructed. I like the idea and I love the glowing ice. I just kind of find it a little bit too right angles, place these sheets here and put a flash underneath, go. And I'm probably with Laurie on that if the other image had been chosen, I might have voted it a bit higher. just to make you feel bad, Glenn.
You've already succeeded, Ollie, and I do know your address.
All right, Trace.
All right. I like the dichotomy of the colors. I'm not sure exactly how much detail we're seeing in the shadow area, whether or not I want a little bit more or a little bit less. And I'm intrigued by, again, as our eye gets drawn to what has the most brightest spot, you know, we've got the centerpiece. I also find my eye drifting off into the background. There's a little spot out in the back, kind of off by itself, and then there's like a reflected lake or something back in the background there, and my eye is kind of wandering out through all of that going towards the orange. So I go from the blue back to the orange. Compositionally, I think it's wonderful. I love the left and right sides and the weight that's given to each of the spaces, the dark space of the mountains in the background. I agree that I might have chosen one of the other images as the hero image, but overall I do like this one.
All right, good critiques, everybody. And Laurie, you are up now.
Okay. All right. You know when you can see that. This is an image of my champion, Mandy Crichton, and she's been with me since the very beginning, since April, and probably the most active of all my members. She started out a couple years ago, so she's kind of a beginner, and this is one of the reasons why I chose her, because I saw such a great growth when she first started to now. And so I'm going to show you a few of her images. Let me just start out by showing you, yeah, I'll show you this one here. Normally, we're the Wildlife and Nature Cohort. And I always see that people, when they're taking photographs of animals, they're usually standing up, the animal's looking away, you're not getting that nice connection. And so we really go through our critiques, and I'm trying to teach them to try to get that connection, get on eye level with them, and get your audience really involved with your subject. So she discovered getting down low, like she was with her DSLR here, with this duck, kind of gave it a different look instead of looking down or being taller than the subject. So I really encouraged her to continue to do that. She has a couple dogs, and I actually discovered the GoPro was really a cool thing to use. She could get down low with her dogs. I encouraged them to go to local parks and zoos, and we're seeing images from her that I've never seen before. Little Joey, but from underneath, which is a really different perspective. And so I really encouraged her to continue to do that and work with that different perspective. Kind of gives a more comical type look at some of these wonderful kangaroos. So she, like I said, she's got a couple dogs, and she would go out to the beach and have them run, and she's got a series of images where they're running at her and the sand's flying, and it's just, like I said, a real different look, and it became her signature when we were, doing critiques, or we would have images up on our cohort. You could see immediately that this was Mandy's image because she developed the style. Okay, now I'm going to show you the one that I picked out of all of her images, actually. Was this one. One of the things I really love to instill in my apprentices is getting the storytelling, the feeling, the emotion of animals, of wildlife. And I think she just epitomized this. You've got this mother that's holding her baby, with love, and this little one, either he's trying to squeal to get out or he's kind of protesting a bit, but there's a lot of human emotion going on here. But I love her post-processing. She did a nice little soft vignette around the edge, and your eye really goes to the subject. And so I just really give kudos to Mandy for just developing a style of her own and really getting that emotion in, these wonderful storytelling images. So that is mine, and I hope that you'll vote for Mandy because she deserves it. Being pretty new at this, I think she's come a long way.
Wow, great presentation. All right, Glenn, critique that.
Thanks, Trey. Well, Laurie, I want to congratulate you on your choice. I think the image you ended up with is a ripper. I also want to mention to Mandy that I love that first shot of the Joey and also the two dogs on the beach. I think she's got a really unique approach to humanising animals. I think that's fantastic. The shot in question, I think it has been beautifully processed. I think the composition's really nice, and it's great the way the eye is wrapped around darkness and drawn into the light. The problem with it is that kid's got a big mouth, and I think
that's a problem.
No, it is a lovely image. Some images, some babies, some humans, we respond to more so than others. It is the humanity of the image that is its greatest power. But I think it's not the face that would win an award. So that's all it is, I'm afraid. It's a face only a mother could love. And not being a mother, I can't vote for it. But being as objective as I can, moving away from subjective, it is a beautiful image, and Mandy should be congratulated for it. Well done.
Awesome. Okay, Ollie.
Okay, I think Glenn is trying to back us all into a corner where we can only vote for him on his image, which is fair enough. I understand that, Glenn. I think that the baby's face is what makes this image so different. You know, I love the perspective of those shots you showed earlier on. It's totally exactly what you were saying, a completely different point of view that makes people sit up and watch. And that's awesome. This shot here, if the baby had just been sitting quiet, it would be fairly boring. I mean, the structure of the image is beautiful with the arms wrapping around in the face and the circular motion that you go through and around this image, but that's exactly the point, is that this baby is screaming, and that is the humanity of this image. It's like any other child is screaming their tits off. And, you know, it's that one moment where you've managed to capture all of that expression as well as the beauty of the mother's embrace. So I'm talking it up. I think this is a great image, a beautiful portrait.
Thank you.
Very nice. Okay, and Trace. Trace, I think you're muted.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you.
There you go.
I really love the perspective of the previous images. The one of the dogs definitely reminds me of Elliot Erwitt's work, getting down on the level of the animals with that perspective. This one here, I'm looking at two things. The image in and of itself is wonderful. I'm also thinking is if this was a human pose, if this was a mother and child pose, how it would just be an incredible image of humans in this particular style. The way the hands are, it's really wonderful. I like seeing that the face of the little chimp stands out so much against the other monochrome tones of the image. I also like the brightness and darkness throughout the monochrome of the darks of the mother. A little bit of this area over here on the left-hand side. I don't know. I don't know if maybe a slightly different crop I'd like better with this, but overall, I think it's a wonderful image. It's going to be tough to beat, but I think we can do it.
All right, more fighting words there. Okay, Ollie, you are up to bat.
All right. So the name of my apprentice who I'm representing today is Omar Al-Kabandi. He is originally from Kuwait. He now lives in Springfield, Missouri. In 2008, he came out from Kuwait, shifted to Maine, and then Oklahoma, and then up to Missouri. So that's where he's based now. He's currently a senior at the Missouri State University, majoring in computer information systems. But for a geek, he's also got a pretty amazing grasp on photography. This is obviously a very well photographed place. I think it's Chicago Airport. Is that right, Trey?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen one of yours from there as well. And he's a very recent apprentice into our cohort. He probably only 6 weeks or so. So it's a great example of the continuing trawl through the apprentices and the magic that you'll find in amongst them. He comes into our cohort with an already very strong appreciation of photography and rules, and therefore being able to break rules and things like that. And I was just so impressed I think he's at level 5. And he just came in with such a very interesting look at the world. Obviously, very post-processed, very HDR styles, but still within that HDR style, there is a very interesting look at the world around him, which I totally appreciate. And it's been very fun going through just the last few weeks with him in the cohort. What I want to do now is come out of that and go into the image that I'm going to be sharing today. And this is called Butcher's Corner. And he mentioned in his critique, this one wasn't critiqued, but another one from the same series was. But he mentioned that it was an old market in Kuwait. He was hosting a photo walk at the time, and for a Kuwait photographers community on Google+. And the reason I chose this image over some of the other ones that he has is that it's a really amazing amalgamation of several things. One is an artistic approach, where the composition of this image is just sublime, with that kind of leading you through into the very center of the image. And then there's a street photography kind of approach, where you've got this triptych of 3 different scenes that he's managed to get into one, with the guy in the butchery on the left, the family in the middle, and then the guy in the butchery on the right. And the timing with that guy on the right bringing his butcher's knife down into the meat, combined with the timing of the kid in the foreground reaching up to Dad, and then this beautiful portrait of the guy on the left. Just an amazing synergy. And then over the top of all of that, he's overlaid his own technique, which we've been able to see through those other images, which is this very post-processed but surreal and beautiful way of looking at his environment. And for that, I can't fault this image. I think it's a sublime image, and really excited to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Very cool. Okay, Glenn, give it to us.
Well, you may have spoken too soon with really wanting to hear what we were going to say, Ollie. I must say I was really hoping that you would choose another image, and then I could attack you for not choosing the one you have. But in fact, I think your choice is excellent. It is indeed a sublime image. The composition's wonderful. I love the fact that there's like 3 different moments in time being explored with the characters. So it does play on that notion of the triptych, and you know, anyone who follows Babylon 5 would know that the Nimbari believe that 3 is sacred. So that's you know, one of my favourite mythologies, Babylon 5. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful image, and I'd congratulate the potential winner on that one. Well done, Ollie, and to your photographer.
All right, Laurie, you're up next.
Well, I must say, this is a beautiful image. When you were going through some of the images, I was really curious to see which one you would pick and what would be the final one. And out of everything, I think this is just marvelous. I love the colors, the lines that are just leading you to this, whatever's happening here with the kid and mom. It's just such a storytelling image, which I absolutely love. And it's very artistic, but yet kind of, you know, realistic, and you find yourself really wanting to look throughout the image. There's only one fault that I do see, actually maybe 2 little things. In the upper left-hand corner, there's that little light that's popping out of that dark window, and it's a little bit distracting to me. I'm looking for symmetry, and everything seems very nice and cropped very nice and even, but that kind of makes my eye go up to the upper left-hand corner, and there's even a little dot down below in the kind of tile, the gray tile on the left-hand side. I would kind of clone those out just so my eye would continue to look this fabulous image in the middle area. So nicely done. Really nice.
Cool. Okay, Trace, you're up.
Wonderful image. It has an inner glow to it, which even though we're looking at the light sources, there's something ethereal about it. The degree of light inside each of those little rooms, exposure and everything is dead on perfect. Color is stunning, and it draws you, between the lines and the color, it draws you down through the image. So you go from all the edges down through the center and even back again, so it kind of has this sort of back and forth flow for me. Can't say, aside from what Laurie had said about, and I hadn't noticed it at first, but yeah, that light up there in that one corner is something I would have taken out. Other than that, I can't see a whole lot to fault this image on.
Awesome. Okay, Trace, you are up next. By the way, Ollie, what was his name? Your apprentice's name again?
Omar.
Omar. Omar, you have some beautiful photos in there. I really enjoyed seeing those. Keep up the good work.
Really nice.
You got a winner there, Ollie. I like that Omar guy.
Potential winner.
Not yet.
Potential winner.
Not yet.
I mean, just a winner apprentice, a winner in life.
Yes.
I only pick winners, Trey.
Okay.
All right, Trace, share away.
I'm up. I've got so I'll do a screen share, and then I've got a video. Go ahead and hit that screen share.
Video. Uh-oh. He's
Yeah,
going
I performed a little video.
He's going the RGW Karen Hutton route.
I wish I had Karen's voice, though. That's the only thing. You got to listen to me.
Trace, I've always thought of you as a male version of RGW. Go on.
Yeah, but I don't have her Gaussian blur. That's the one thing,
All right. What are we going to watch here that's exciting?
Ineke Willebords was born and raised in Switzerland 49 years ago. Moved to the Netherlands as a teenager, studied in Amsterdam, where she got an MA in politics and later got an MA at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. She ended up staying in London and was an opera stage manager for a while, worked as a personal assistant for a graphic designer, and then was an artist agent for many years before moving back to Amsterdam via Barcelona. She had been surrounded by artists all the time, but never considered herself as having a single microcell of creativity in her. Her passion for photography started as a teenager. However, life got in the way, she got sidetracked, and never picked up a camera again until 5 or 6 years ago in Amsterdam, when she signed up for a basic course in photography sponsored by National Geographic. Almost 4 years ago, she moved to Bali, an amazing place. There is a picture almost everywhere you look. Other than that, she travels a lot, does 2 or 3 hours of yoga 5 to 6 days a week, started designing jewelry, and has been working on a book about Mount Agong for quite a while now. And let's go back.
All right. So, which image is your champion's submission?
My champion's image. Let me do 1 second here. Do the screen share again.
Okay, I can see Glenn loading up his guns.
Just a second. And 1 moment. There we
Glenn
go.
is ready to attack. Okay, Glenn, go.
This is...
Oh, sorry, Trace. You can say something about that.
Okay. I just... When I first saw this, the story that came to my mind was this, that Ineke was, she had just come to Sahara for the first time and was going through and taking pictures, and she got separated from her group. And about 3 days traveling in the desert, she was lost, starving, dying of thirst, near death, and she saw this Bedouin coming with his camels over the horizon. And her throat was so dry she couldn't speak. She couldn't call out for help. She was on the verge of passing away here, and her last act as a great artist was to lift her camera and snap this picture. That was her last act. She wanted, before she would pass, to have a legacy of a great image. And this is the dedication this woman has to her art. Okay? Fortunately, the sound of the shutter clicking caught his attention, and he came and helped her and rescued her. So now she is part of the Arcanum and our cohort. So this is just the power of photography in action right here. And
All right. Okay, Glenn, go for it.
Thanks, Trey. Well, Trace, I must say that's a wonderful, heartwarming story, if only it were true. I think...
seeing through that, are you?
I think it is a very nice image. I mean, the colours are really nice in it. I think it's been well processed. I guess the impact is lost a little bit because we all suspect that it's, that our photographer's on a tour, and she hasn't actually done that much to make the photo, so it kind of takes away a little bit. But I think also structurally, having the subjects across the middle of the frame isn't ideal. I think if the photographer was a little lower or a little higher, you know, to accentuate the height of the dunes, photographer was down a little lower, got rid of some of the sky, which isn't great. That probably would have helped. And I think I know it's a bit strange to say this, but the organisation of the camels isn't great. The first two seem to be, well, very, very close, like Kiwi brothers. And I think, you know, structurally it would look better.
Glenn, you're stretching.
If they were separated a little bit more. I know that's not reality, but looking at a picture, you know, compositionally, that would help. But, you know, it's a very nice picture, but just doesn't have the wow factor that some of the others, in particular mine, does. Thanks.
Okay, Laurie.
Okay. So I agree with some of the things that Glenn said. One of the things I might recommend doing, though, is cropping. You see on the right-hand side where that line is just kind of hitting the edge of the frame. If she was to crop right across the bottom there, so it kind of hits the corner, I think that would have been better. I see a camel with 8 legs, this first one here, so that was a little distracting. It's the first thing that I noticed. So again, separating the animals is really critical when you're shooting something like this. Again, it would be the cropping and separating the animals. Right now, it's just too tight and too much is happening. But it is a nice image. I love the colors and some of the negative space there.
Okay, and Ollie.
And Ollie. Yeah, I kind of back up what the other guys are saying. I think personally, although Laurie's mentioning the negative space and the use of it, I kind of feel like there's too much negative space in a way. For me, the story is what the strip through the middle. Had there been some detail in the sand in the foreground, that might have been why we left that much sand in it. I kind of feel like it's too much straight out of camera crop, where the photographer hasn't brought anything to the cropping of this image that sells that story more. However, I do want to back it up by saying I love her work. The photos you showed were great. They're really, really awesome images. I just think this one a little bit too cluttered in the middle and then a little bit too much negative space.
Okay, I guess that is it then. Okay, now what happens is, because the audience or the masters who are voting may have forgotten some of the photos that were shown, every master has a final 30 seconds to get the other masters to vote for their image. Okay, we'll go in reverse order. All right. So Trace, even though you just went, you can show your photo again and just try to see if you get a few votes. Sometimes you just need one. So go.
Okay.
And if everyone could
my photo up, or?
share their image too, that would be good. Thank you.
Just a second here.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, Trace, you can go for it.
Okay. Got it right there? I got it?
Got it.
Sorry, a little slow here.
Okay.
All right. You know, it's I hear what everybody says, but honestly, this image jumped out at me for a number of reasons. Almost the monochrome sense and the way the blue of his tunic stands out. I love the combination of the elements and then the pure negative space. It's very zen. It's very Sahara Desert. You need to have that open space to communicate the vastness of the environment that you're in, and I think this image does it beautifully. Cropping it tighter, rearranging some elements, possibly, but to be honest with you, this one always jumped out at me as being just perfectly composed. It looks to me like a movie poster, something along those lines.
Cool. Good defense there. Sounded good, Trace. Okay. Going in reverse order, we have Ollie.
Okay. Omar's HDR Butcher's Corner. I mean, what can I say? You guys have all agreed with me that this is a very, very nice image. Yeah, a couple of spots that maybe we could have cloned out. I'm sure he'll do that upon watching this Creation Wars. But overall, that beautiful triptych, the amazing storytelling, and that post-processing story over the top of it is, to me, obviously my first ever win of the Creation Wars. Thank you very much. Not at all rigged. Thanks, Stu.
Okay, Laurie.
Okay. I think this image is what really the Arcanum is all about. Where we're taking in people that love photography and they want to grow their skills and they really want to get connected. Mandy is the perfect example of this, where she started out doing some kind of normal stuff and then came out with this end result where she's captured emotion and this really dynamic, you know, the mother with the baby. It's just absolutely beautiful. And if anybody's ever photographed wildlife, you know that it's very difficult to capture moments like this. So she captured it. It was spot on, and I think it's absolutely a winner. So please vote for her. I think she really deserves it.
All right, very nice. And last is Glenn.
Thanks, Trey. Well, folks, I'm sure, like me, you would agree that we sing it nice and big.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure, like me, you would you'd feel relieved by having that monkey off your back. We, and you know, I want to congratulate my friends for showing up today, because it's not easy when you know you're facing defeat. This image, I'm sure you'll agree, it's just glorious. You know, the luminosity that I spoke about before is here. It is all about light. It's about the relationship between colours. It's about a beautiful sense of space, and it's about a pristine environment that still exists on the edge of the known. And I think this image is something we all want to aspire to in our own adventures, in our own journeys, in our own photography. And to live in a state of perpetual light is what this photograph is doing right now. So I'd ask you all to reward my good friend Torben Kuhl with your vote, because he is most deserving of it. Thank you.
Very, very nice. Okay. So I'm going to send around a voting thing to you guys right now in chat, all right? As I do that, you guys chat amongst yourselves, okay? You can unscreen share now if you like.
No, I think I'll keep mine up. It's quite good right where it is. I mean, you know, when it comes down to it, photographers love things in threes. This image has 3 different stories. That's 3 points in my book.
You let you go, son.
What else to talk about? Well, Trey is... We could bring up Jessica Lark and her amazing ability of not being able to send through these scores, because she specifically asked us not to bring that up today. So here's hoping, whatever Trey's way of getting us to vote is this week, that we'll all be able to do it slightly better than Jess.
It's all on you now, Ollie.
Actually, that's true. Kind of is. Trey's going to be away, and I'm going to cover for him for a couple of these shows. So I've been taking notes as to how to talk like Trey and his sort of southern, slow way of talking.
Southern gentleman.
I'm going to get all semi-serious for a second and just point out to people that are in the Arcanum currently that there are 2 new categories in the Grand Library, and one of those is out in the field, which is currently populated with a whole load of Trey's stuff, but it would be awesome if we can get that filled by apprentices. And what I mean by that is, if you're out and about doing any photography, whether it's, you know, like landscape stuff or you're doing a shoot for someone or anything like that, take a little vlog when you're out and upload it to the Grand Library as a little vlog for everyone to see what you're doing in there, and put it in the out in the field section of the Grand Library, and then we can all see what everyone's up to, and I think that'll be awesome.
Stu, I'm not really privy to this, but have you had any experience in doing that sort of thing yourself?
Wouldn't you know that, yes, I actually have. So I may as well add some of my own videos into there, but so you can watch out for them in the Grand Library in the next couple of days. But you don't need to have the best camera around or anything like that. Just get your phone, record a little vlog. You can upload it to YouTube, and they have their own editor. You just basically chop out bits that you want or stick bits together that you want. It'll do everything for you, and then you just put it in the Grand Library, and we can all join each other on little trips around the world.
Awesome idea.
Actually, I have to say, I have seen some of the ones you've done, Stu, and I'm well impressed by what you've done there. It's a good idea to create that category, because I think that's exactly what our apprentices should be doing, is sharing their experiences with their cohort and potentially the other apprentices. I really appreciate that. Good work.
We should have an apprentice photo walk day where everybody goes out in their neighborhood and shoots images from where they live.
Also a very good idea.
Okay, votes are coming in. This is very exciting. Votes are coming in.
Trey, I don't have anything from you yet.
What?
Yep.
Oops.
How many personalities do you have online, Laurie? Maybe that he sent it to one of your pseudonyms.
It should be images by Laurie. Not that fun. Oh, here it is. Just got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
Tiff, A.D. Wheeler wants to know why you've banned him from SurveyMonkey and would like an apology ASAP.
I haven't. I haven't
That's
at
not
all.
what he says.
Has he voted? No.
No permission, he says. Controversial.
I don't know. There's a number of other people have managed to, so there you go.
I think pretty much every app on the internet has this inbuilt feature of banning AD Wheeler by default.
Oh
And
no.
so you actually need to go in to whatever app it is that you're running and unban him.
An auto ban.
Oh, auto ban. The German version of the motorway.
Hey, it's a fast one.
Beaten by the band stick.
Okay, votes are coming in. This is exciting. I'm just missing one person's, and it's in. Now let me do some tabulation. You guys keep talking. I got to tabulate. All right.
I think we need to change this. Not voting for our own.
Right. You are not allowed to vote on your own. That is
No.
clearly stated.
I think we need to change that.
So, does anybody have any New Year's resolutions that you want to share? Nope.
I do. I want to go to the Faroe Islands, or Faroe, which is in between. Yeah, do you say Faroe? I was never sure. Let's say Faroe then. The Faroe Islands, which is in between Norway and Iceland. You're never more than a couple kilometres from the sea, and I think the population's about 35,000 people. 6 islands from memory, and it looks glorious. So I'm hoping to be there the middle of the year.
Nice.
They do not have a football team that plays very well, I can tell you that.
Well, hang on a second. They beat Greece just recently.
That's not saying a lot.
Well, Greece won a World Cup not long ago. Oh, and they're wonderful singers. Wonderful singers. They're all
I
musical.
can almost see the Faroe Islands from my window.
Yeah.
AD Wheeler just reminded me of my New Year's resolution. I'm going to do a tour of the US with AD Wheeler sometime during the middle of 2015. So we're going to do a kind of an Arcanum / photography tour. So that's in the planning at the moment. So keep your eyes open for that.
You
Cool.
gonna
Do you
join
know
the
where you're
caravan?
going to go?
We haven't. We're in the planning stages of where we're going now. So any suggestions? At Ollie Dale is my Twitter handle. You may tweet me whenever you like.
Cool.
I would just recommend that you don't go to Iceland, because I'm hoping to put together a tour middle of the year there as well.
You hear that, AD? Iceland's first on our US tour.
One of the northern states. Yeah.
Okay, I have results, but there's controversy because Glenn has messed up. Glenn has spent.
Glenn is
I never get perfect votes. There's always
Sorry.
a lark in the forest.
It's not messing
poor
up,
Jess.
it's sabotage. Sabotage, that's what it is.
Now,
Do you want me-
Glenn,
do you
I'll
want me
let
to
you.
tell you?
I'll let you look at your votes and see if you can uncover the mistake yourself.
Which of these is not like the other?
So Trey, you're going to have to buy some of my sister's wine because this is pretty damn good.
I would love to. I would love to. Does she
I'll send you the link.
mail it down to Queenstown?
She sure does, all over the New Zealand.
Yeah,
I'll even send you the friends and family discount link.
sounds good.
Sorry, it's the awesome person discount link.
All right. Yeah. Let me know what quantities it comes in. I'm happy to buy some and support
Oh,
the
I
Dale
see.
family.
Only
I'll
five.
have some bottles now. The others will go down into the wine cellar.
This will sell it pretty well. It's quite tasty.
Yeah.
But very young.
Let me see.
Okay, I understand. I've got it now.
You see your mistake.
I do.
You can't give yourself 5, okay, Glenn?
Yeah, my mistake. I've rectified that.
Okay, 3 to me, and carry on from there.
How's that, Trey?
That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'm now ready to announce the winner. Again, very, very close. There was only one vote difference between first, second, and third, so super tight. Every vote really matters. Actually, I'm just now kind of putting myself in the heads of masters that are voting and like thinking, like, oh, I got one vote. Where do I put it? You think you're just throwing it away to get rid of it, but you might be making the winner happen. So every vote super duper matters. These little subtle things you say to each other, it's all a big deal. Trust me. The winner, first time ever, the Creation Wars is Ollie Dale.
Hey! Yeah! Nice one, Omar.
Third time
Well
is
done,
a
buddy.
charm.
Omar. Third time is a charm. Omar is currently on his way to Tibet, so he's no doubt going to come back with some more winning images for the Creation Wars from our cohort.
Fantastic job. Good job, everybody. Really strong images this week. Very cool stuff.
So we don't
Nice
get an
work,
announcement
Stuart.
on
Thanks for
the
rigging those
second
votes,
and third?
man.
No, I never announced second or third or fourth. They don't matter. Only the winner matters in the Creation Wars.
That's right.
The pride of
Amen
winning.
to that.
Here's what I think it's like we should do the pride of winning for the cohort, and I think the master should get a album of choice from Gino's special album library.
That's not a bad idea.
Post it out. So what was the popular choice? Tiff, who voted from the general public?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I kept refreshing, and there was a battle between your image and Laurie's image that you guys both put up. And you guys swapped the lead a couple of times, but I'm just doing a quick refresh just to see. And yeah, People's Choice has Laurie's in front. So Laurie is the winner of People's Choice.
Nice. Well done,
With
Laurie.
Ollie Dale a close
Good one,
second.
Laurie.
Thank you.
Good job, Laurie. Good job, Laurie.
Good joy. No, it's Mandy. Right?
Well, good choosing. Good choosing.
Okay.
All right, so now we can share some photos. You can share anything like you've taken recently or in the past, or any tips or tricks or anything you want to toss into the ring. Glenn, do you want to start? Glenn always has good stuff.
Thanks. Okay, just take a moment.
I'm trying to find some images. I just finished some images I'm super proud of, and I went to double click on them in iPhoto, and it says it can't find them. So I'm kind of at a loss. So now I'm having to go through my recycle bin of all things and make sure I still have the images before I drag them into iPhoto. So I'm in a mild photo panic over here.
So awesome that iPhoto couldn't handle them.
They're not that awesome, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good, I'll be honest. All right. I'll see if I can find those while you guys share.
Actually, does someone else want to go first? Because I've just misplaced mine. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'll see if I can bring something up for you.
Run your hard drive, Glenn.
Good work, Stu. Santa. All right, so I just wanted to share this silly little thing that that we did over Christmas. Not so silly for my family. Obviously fairly silly for anyone else. Let's share this screen here. Okay, so you probably going on what happened earlier in this cohort, in this hangout rather. You won't be able to hear any sound, so let's just flag the sound. But this was our attempt at catching Santa. Okay, so my 7-year-old boy came to us the day before Christmas, and he said, "Dad, look, I'm just really concerned. Some of my friends at school have told me that actually Santa doesn't exist, and it's just your mum and dad who buys the presents." And so basically I said to him, right, let's go through and figure out what's happening here and see if we can catch Santa. And so we set up a GoPro. This is all on Christmas Eve, so after midnight mass we come home. This is like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I decided that it's about time to catch Santa in the act. So I went to sleep down on this couch next to our Christmas tree in our lounge. Over on the right, you'll see a chair. On it is a glass of milk and a Christmas mince pie. That's obviously for Santa. Out in the backyard, which you can't see, is 2 carrots waiting on the lawn for Rudolph. One of the fun things of Christmas Eve is at about 4 o'clock in the morning, every Christmas Eve / Christmas morning, you'll find me in the backyard biting carrots and spitting them out, which is a lot of fun. So we caught Santa. We got him. He came into the room at about 8 minutes. So I'm just going to scroll forward here. Here we go. At 7:59, I roll over, and just as I roll over, as it would happen, Santa comes in the room, right? And it's just nuts. Like, of all the times to roll over, Santa comes in. You can see by his extreme waistline that he's quite fat. But he can wave his hand and make magic happen. All the Christmas presents appear. And then he helps himself to the food. That's why he's so fat. And the exciting thing is that this is just so magic for our family. Our kids were so excited to catch Santa in the act. You might be able to see a little bit of an undercut there on Santa's hair. A little bit of dark hair underneath. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, he moved down on that Christmas mince pie, and then luckily for the mirror, you could see him reflected as he was eating it. And then Santa leaves. You know, he's just careful not to wake me up. Scumbag! I wanted to catch him in the act, and that was Christmas for my kids, man. That was just crazy. I couldn't believe that I slept through it.
Amazing. Genius. Another genius Ollie Dale move.
Very cute.
That's me saying, oh my goodness, what happened? So I was up at 5 a.m. editing that.
Oh, that was awesome. You're a cool dad, Ollie Dale.
Kind of. Got to keep the magic alive, right?
Yeah, right on. We have Bob at our house. You know Bob, the elf on the shelf.
Elf on the shelf.
Yeah, we do some crazy stuff with the elf. We make a few bad things. Actually, some things I've done, Tina has made me like undo before the kids saw it. But I thought it was pretty clever. One guy even took their elf on the shelf and they like knocked down their Christmas tree and like cut into it with a saw, and they left Bob there with the saw in the morning. Yeah, seemed a little rough. Okay, Glenn Guy, go for it. Are you ready?
Yep. Cheers, Trey. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay. I just thought I'd just show a couple more images, and I must admit I hadn't prepared. So I'm hoping you haven't seen a couple of these before, but if so, I'll be brief anyway. So this is one from my latest ebook, How to Photograph Cemeteries, shot in Paris. This is up in the Highlands in Iceland. You know, I love the colour blue and blue light in the landscape. This is Greenland on a midnight cruise. Pretty straightforward image. Just, you know, the fact of being there, of course, is what it's all about. You may have seen that one. This is a favourite location in China, Huangshan, or Yellow Mountain. You might see the scale in this. That's a tree on that peak right in the middle of the image. A huge kind of party tree. So the scale of the scene is very dramatic. A little shopkeeper or a shopkeeper in a little shop, kind of a kiosk in Kolkata, India. I was doing a series of images on workers. So here's a child in his father's printing shop. And it was the circles as much as a beautiful child's face that drew me to this image. That old hand-run printing press on the left of the photo. From the Cemeteries, Photographing Cemeteries ebook, this one's made in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So I had this little trick where I was making these photographic composites, in no way involving Photoshop or any kind of hocus pocus. They're all made in the camera in a way that doesn't include a feature like multiple exposure. So that's kind of one of the things I explore in the ebook, how to do that. Bali, you mentioned Bali. I think it was Trace. You know, your apprentices from Bali, and it is a glorious place. It's within relatively easy reach from Australia. It is magnificent. And this one's in Bruges, a favourite location of mine in Belgium. Wonderful in black and white, very historical city. Iceland, you know, geothermal area, close to, well, quite close to the northern edge of the country. That's a sunrise, that shot. Another one, Iceland over the landscape. This is in Belgium. Sorry, it's in Salzburg, at a famous cemetery. Greenland, you know, just the scale of that iceberg's pretty extraordinary. Here's another shot from the Photographing Cemeteries ebook. Apologies if I showed a couple of these last time. I actually couldn't remember. A portrait from a little village my mum sponsored way back in the 60s, which, you know, she built the housing for these people, and this is one of the villages there. And here's another shot from Bali. So I like it against that other really vibrant coloured, lush landscape. So this is really a study in composition, and people are tapping on the shoulder, sort of saying, no, the landscape's over this way, son. But for me, this is just as important a photograph because, as I say, it's a study in composition, colour, shape, repetition, balance. And this, although it's a shot of icebergs in Greenland, it's really a shot of a triangle from my way of thinking. That the middle iceberg there, that's really what the photo's about, composition. And a final one in Iceland, it's a favourite of mine because it was really the story that goes up to the making of this image, which I posted in one of many tutorial videos I've got in the Grand Library. I've just added a couple more over recent days, including an interview with our good friend Stuart Davidson on what it is to be an apprentice, a moderator, and a hero, and another one with an apprentice and moderator from my own cohort, Hugh Ferguson. So they've just been added to the Grand Library. And another one I'll be adding later today will be on photographing ice and snow. So thanks for that, Trey. I appreciate it.
Sure. Great photos as always. Laurie, do you have anything to share?
I actually do. I'll make it nice and quick. Let's see here. So hopefully folks can see that. A second here. Okay, so this is a website called SkyPixel. I'm hearing an echo right now, sorry. This is set up by DJI, and I thought it would be appropriate since, Trey, you were talking about your new copter. And so I'm one of the experts on their site, and Trey is as well. But we post pictures from the air. And here's an example of, this is Russell Preston Brown underneath some piers. So there's just kind of fun things you can do from the air that you really couldn't get if you were just, eye level So it gives a whole new perspective of what our world looks like. I took this just a couple days ago. Actually, it was at a park next to us, and I thought it looked like a guitar. You know, the frets
Yeah, it does.
and stuff.
I thought thumbnail was a
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah, exactly. But I love seeing things like that from the air. Flying with balloons. That was an awesome experience. This is a small gated community where my sister lives, and every 4th of July they have hot air balloons, and I asked if I could fly amongst them, and they said sure. So I get to fly with the hot air balloons, which is really fun. So anyway, I just encourage people to look at this site. It's called SkyPixel, and you can get look at some really nice images. And if you're interested in flying copters, this is the kind of stuff that you can get from the air, which is really fun. So I just wanted to share that.
Cool stuff.
Yeah,
Right on. Okay, Trace, you want to share anything? You might be muted, Trace.
And you see it.
There you go.
All right, give me just a second. And let's see, these are just some work I'm doing in iPhone photography, mobile photography, way back when. And find different perspectives, different lighting, different processing. It's amazing what you can do with the apps.
What are your favorite apps?
Snapseed is one. Hipstamatic is, I can't live without Hipstamatic. If I was on a desert island and had one app to go by, it would be Hipstamatic. Unfortunately, I'm rocking the iPhone 3GS still. And the latest update to Hipstamatic doesn't quite G-haw with the 3GS, so I'm going to have to upgrade to the 6 or 6 Plus. I don't know, I got the 6 Plus and I got the iPad Mini, and I'm looking at them side by side, and there's not much different. I call the iPad Mini my iPhone 6 Plus Plus, except it doesn't make phone calls. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I like doing a lot of composite work on the iPhone. It's just amazing, this stuff that you can do. And actually, for mobile photography, I'm also working on the iPad a lot more too. And Pixelmator is an awesome app, along with Photoshop and things like that for the iPad. So I mean, the stuff that we can do right now is just totally amazing to me right now.
Yeah, there are some really cool apps for sure. I need to play with them more, actually. I spend so much time on my computer. I don't spend much time processing on the phone.
I'm waiting to see when we get touch screens in digital SLRs and software in the camera itself.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yesterday, I spent part of the day with a guy named Ren Ng, who is the chairman and founder of Lytro, and he had just happened to be here in Queenstown, and he brought the new Lytro camera and I started playing with it. It was pretty cool. The UI was really amazing. I was super impressed with the UI, especially with the focus ring. They had this. It's hard to explain, but the way the UI worked, that would expand and show you what was in focus and what wasn't. It was really, really smart, I thought. And like as you would, like it would show like 2 inches to 4 feet, right? And then as you would zoom out, like the UI would change. It would go like to 1 inch to like 10 feet. And then you can see what was in focus. It's hard to explain, but I was pretty impressed with the UI. It was all super easy to use. Okay, I'll share a few here quickly. Just 4 pictures, I think. I'll just share 4.
Trey, just while you're doing that, could I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Well, Trace, I wanted to say I love that. I love the photos; they were fantastic. You've got a cohort dedicated to iPhone photography or mobile photography. Is that right?
Not mine. I know Gina DiGeronimo, I think, is working in that area.
Okay. Well, I'm going to look out for you if you end up having one, because it'll be one I'd love to join. I think some of those photos are wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, it's an area I'm going to be exploring. We'll see where my cohort wants to go, but that's definitely an area I want to explore with everybody.
Yeah, you get to make your own challenges, so you could always do some fun mobile phone challenges. Everyone would like that, I think. I would like that.
And everybody's got one.
Yeah. Okay, here's a few photos. Sorry, this one's small. This was sent to me by Karen Hutton. So her and Renee Robin stopped over at the SmugMug offices where they have one of my prints. They had a little sexy photo taken in front of it, just like that. Here is a quadcopter shot, Laurie. This was 7 photos stitched together. I took this on Christmas here in Queenstown. And this is the valley in between Queenstown and Arrowtown. This is where we live down there. And it's perfectly green and really pretty. And it was very easy to stitch together. I was really impressed at the DNG quality. This is, I didn't make any adjustments in Lightroom before I stitched them together. I did after I stitched them together. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's so stable. You just turn, take a photo, turn, take a photo, turn, take a photo.
Wow.
Super simple.
Yeah.
Trey, have
Trey,
you used GigaPan at all?
Yes, I've used that before. Yeah.
Trey, I was just going to ask, when you're doing the HDR there, you said that's 7 images, so does it rotate to be a vertical when you're doing HDR, or how does that work?
What do you mean rotate to do a vertical?
Well, like, we all know that if you're going to do a stitch, you would turn your camera so that it's in a vertical orientation and stitch those images.
Oh, right.
Is that what this camera has done, or
no?
like how is that?
It doesn't. It's pretty wide angle. No, you can't turn the camera sideways, so it still stays pretty flat.
So how do you take 7 images and end up with a crop like that?
Well, there's quite a bit of overlap. I was just extra careful with the overlap, and probably I overlaid probably about 60 or 70% overlap just to be sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's really fun and easy. And then a few days ago, we took a little road trip, me and my friend Mark and Curtis, and we took a road trip to this place called Ophir, O-P-H-I-R, and I espied this pond on the other side of the fence while we were driving in, so we did a bat turn, pulled over, and jumped over the fence to go explore this pond. Glad I did. Perfect little pond. This was taken with a new wide-angle lens from Sony, the 16-35 FE. I love that lens. This is all the way at 16. In fact, actually, there's a little bit of a lie in this photo in that I couldn't quite get all the pond in. I felt like the pond was way too close to the edge of the photo, and so I took another 100 pixels and I did content-aware fill. So, like, the whole right 100 pixels of this photo doesn't really exist. It's all digital fake. But it does such a good job, And then here's another photo that I took, which I'm super happy with. So it kind of came out as a surprise. This was in Tokyo. I don't process my photos right away. I took this probably just about a year ago. But then I came home to process it and just did it just yesterday. And I really like the way it turned out. It's pretty rad, I think. Anywho, there's a few photos for you.
So Trey, you said that you like the new Sony lens. Would you use that over the old NEX lens that you use all the time, or would you still go back to that one?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I was using my Sony NEX 10 to 18 millimeter lens on that, which is a cropped lens. But you can't really tell it's cropped unless you're shooting all the way at 18 or 11 or 10. As long as you're like 11 to 17, you're fine. But even at those, what happens is you do get a little bit of barrelings. It gets quite warped over on the edge, and it's not quite so sharp, and there's a bit of CA action happening there. That stuff doesn't usually bother me. There's always the chromatic aberration police out there who will say you have a little CA in the lower right-hand corner. I normally ignore those people, but I do notice it. Given the choice, I'd like to have no CA. But really, people just look at the center of the photo. Really, people don't really look at the edges. But given the option of having a better lens like this new one is, we don't have that lack of sharpness, the CA, that kind of stuff. So I think it's just basically a better lens for that.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys. Any other parting shots before we part ways for the night?
The right image one, so I think everyone goes home happy.
Good. All right.
Thank you, Stu.
Yeah, good job, everybody. Okay, and then in the after party, which will start when the official broadcast ends, we're going to see, Tiff, you're going to share some photos that came across the internetosphere.
Yep, for sure.
All right. All right, very cool. All right, Stu, we ready to wrap it up then?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, congratulations to Ollie. A fantastic performance. Congratulations to all of our masters and apprentices. I'm so happy to see all these photos. This is fantastic. It was really, really good. And you guys turned me on to 4 new apprentices today that I didn't know about, so this is great. I think you actually turned the entire Arcanum onto them, so that was awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks very much, and I will not see you next week. I'll be away on a trip, but Ollie will be holding down the fort for us for a few weeks. Okay. All right. Thanks, and I will see you next time. Bye. And scene.